Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another short news video for Final Fantasy XIV. Hot off the press from the 74th letter from a producer live, we have some very interesting things to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about really was this incredible UI improvement segment and how useful that's really going to be in the actual game. So it's no surprise, honestly, that Yoshi P addressed the use of third-party modifications whilst talking about some of these features. Apparently, he expressed that using it as an excuse that these features are not present in the game currently to use third-party modifications is no longer going to be an excuse. It's pushed their hand, it's forced their hand, and they are finally addressing some of the things that they think would make the game better, but the community also seems to think would make the game better. Now, as somebody that doesn't use third-party modifications at all, because of obviously the terms of service, this is really awesome news. So the first major thing is to the UI improvements will be the ability to see in both your flying text as well as your battle log the differentiation between what damage is outgoing and ingoing in terms of its category. So previously you would be killed by something, you'd be like, what killed me? And you'd be like, oh, it was such and such spike. Like, okay, well, is that a physical, magical, or what is that ability? No longer will that be a puzzle. Now it will have an icon next to the type of damage, the damage number itself. So as you can see here, if it's a physical piece of damage that did damage to you or you did to them, it will show a sword symbol. Of course, these are subject to change and all of this is, pre-release, but that's what it's going to look like if it's physical. If it is a magical thing, it will have what appears to be either a wand or a stick with a ball on the end that's pink or purple. That will indicate that it's magic related damage. And if it's unique damage that doesn't fit into those two other categories, it will be a star shape like this green star. So of course this is the start of things. Hopefully they address other types of damage and split it into even smaller categories as well. The more icons the better, but this is nice and simplified. This makes it quick and easy to see what damage, for example, what killed you. That is a really useful thing to know. What incoming damage is it? And then you can use abilities like mitigations that protect against either magical or physical damage, depending on that. You no longer have to go and look up a guide on the internet and somebody who's theory crafted or figured this out and look at tooltips and things like that. Now you just know if it's physical, magical, or unique based damage that's going out. Very cool stuff. That's the first thing. The second thing, and probably even better than the first thing, is the ability to display remaining time for buffs and debuffs. So for the longest time in Final Fantasy XIV, this has been one of my personal gripes as well. I've said this, buff tracking is just, up until this point, and this announcement is awful, quite honestly. It's something that needed to be worked on, and I'm so happy that Yoshi P's team has worked hard to make this a reality. As you can see from the demonstration they show on this slide, we have debuffs shown, which appears like the tanks turned a monster onto the party or something there. I've no idea. 7 of those debuffs. Also notifying that you can assume of those. But you'll see, look, it's tracking every single buff that's on there with timers. So things like Cahexia during prog in Savage is no longer going to be as big of a problem as it is. So without communications, a lot of fights in Final Fantasy XIV's endgame become quite hard when you have to rely on macros and text-based communication. Not many people use voice comms for that kind of pug environment. Most statics are favored because of the voice communications through Discord or many other VoIP industry applications. But it's going to be a lot easier for you to just go into Party Finder and deal with things like Cahexia and see which buffs and timers people have, so you know that if you were in the right place or not. But you can also see if other people were in the right place at the right time on the right side of the boss, for example. Things like that. This is a huge change, and again, this is something that is available, or was, available technically, as Yoshi P said himself, in third-party tools, which is something obviously against terms of service and something they're trying to dissuade people from making excuses to use. So this is a really nice way of addressing that. I'm personally very grateful, but I'm sure a lot of other people, especially in the much higher rating scene when it comes to things like ultimates, far above my skill, will attest to this. It is a great change. So 6.3 cannot come quick enough based simply on that. There's lots of other little miscellaneous things like a new UI theme and things like this, but these were the main things. This is going to help learning parties so easily, like being able to teach people fights. It's going to be so easy to say, well, look at this debuff and look at this number, and then it's on the party list, not only just having to self-target yourself and set focus target. Easy peasy. Party list integration, best idea ever. Anyway, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know what you think about these changes. I don't see any negatives from this, and what you would like to see in addition to this. Is there anything that another third-party application does that you would like to see in the game? Apart from bloody damage numbers, of course, because they said they're never going to do that. We just have to accept that. Anyway, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.